My name's Darren Prince, and welcome to the Road to Recovery. I like to say I had a great loving family, mother and dad that always supported me, gave me all the love, attention, and the support in the world, a sister. And I had a lot of guy and girlfriends, got along with everybody. But for whatever reason, I felt different deep down inside. I always felt like I had a hole in my soul. I never felt socially accepted. I felt socially inept, very awkward. And I think a lot of that started when I was in second grade. We were divided into classrooms by intelligence, by a color stick, and I was in the red group. And the red group, my friends and I hate using the word, but you can imagine what I'm thinking. It's another word for mentally challenged. We would call our friends in that group the R-only group. And I remember walking down the hallway at 12 years old one time. I was in one of those rooms, and some kid goes, "There goes one of the idiots." And I look left, and I look right, and I turn all the way around. I was the only one in the hallway. And it took everything in me not to cry. I went home that night. I remember it was just my mind playing it back and forth, and I just didn't tell my mom and dad. It's also a reason why I'm so passionate about speaking to high school kids and grammar school kids right now, to not be Darren Prince, and speak up if you feel different, if you have a problem, if you have self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth. Don't do what I did. So the drug started when I was 14 years old in sleepaway camp. I had stomach pains one night, really bad. And I said to the counselor, "We need to go see the nurse." And she gave me this green liquid in a clear cough syrup cup. It tasted disgusting. But within a minute, every time I tell this story, I still can get the chills. It shows me that I'm a healthy drug addict, even though I'm in recovery, because I want that feeling. I don't ever want to freaking forget it. And I felt like Superman. All the inadequacies, all the insecurities, the lack of self-worth, socially inept, went away like that. I got back to the bunk, and the guys thought I was the cool one, the popular one, the buff one, the good-looking one. Never flirted with girls in my entire life until that very night. I'm lying in bed that very next night thinking to myself, man, that feeling was amazing. And I learned how to lie and con right then, and I need to get more of it. So I keeled over, and I went over to the counselor, and I said, "Man, we got to go back to the infirmary." Until my mom and dad came for his visitation day and found that I was taking liquid Demerol, and that was the end of that. From ages 14 to my early 20s, I partied like a rock star. Drugs, alcohol, substances to affect me from the neck up, steroids, you name it, I did it with no legal repercussions whatsoever. And 21 years old, it all came crashing down. I was arrested 4 times in 6 months. But never one time did Darren look at himself and say, "Darren has a problem." It was always somebody else's fault. The judge thought differently, put me in a program called the Alliance in St. Barnabas Hospital in Livingston, and said if I don't complete it within 1 year, staying away from drugs and alcohol or any problems, I'm gonna be looking at minimum of 6 months in prison. So I did it. 3 days to go, I got the great news, I was graduating. And I called my friend Dave, I said, "Hey man, I got the best idea ever." I said, "Let's go to New York City and celebrate, baby, I'm off the hook." I got my papers, I'm free to go, let's do some mind eraser shots and go crazy. And we took a handful of Xanax on the way into the city, did a bunch of shots at Jimmy's Cafe in the Village in New York. And next thing you know, my mind was erased because, you see, Dave's car fell into a ditch on the way home, he fell asleep. I didn't have a seatbelt on, my face wound up going into the windshield, 95 stitches in my face. Broken nose, concussion, my lip is split in half. And I wake up in the hospital, and who are the first 2 people I see? My mom and my dad. The tears rolling down their face, that they know their baby boy's got such a bad problem and he can't admit it. And again, wasn't my fault. Because I had all the success at that point. I started a multi-million-dollar company at 14 years old selling baseball cards. In my early 20s, it eventually went into a sports and celebrity memorabilia company. And then at 25, I started the agency I have now, Prince Marketing Group, with Magic Johnson as my first client. So how could I have a problem, right? And everybody else bought into the same line of bullshit. How could he have a problem? How's he running with some of the biggest names on the planet? He's so universally revered and respected, just like his clients. But deep down inside, like I said, I had a hole in my soul. I felt like such a broken piece of shit that wasn't worth any of it. Until I found recovery. July 1st, 2008, I had what I think was my probably first God moment that I ever had happen in my life. And my uncle and his then girlfriend, Andrea, were in the 12-step fellowship. And they were visiting my mom, and they paid a surprise visit to me. I never met Andrea before in my life. She looked at me, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I said, "No, I'm not." She said, "What's wrong?" And I spilled my guts. I told her everything. She goes, "Do you realize you're an addict? Your life's unmanageable?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Do you realize that you are right in the hell of this disease, and your life is so unmanageable that you need help or you're going to die?" I said, 100%. She goes, "Now, most importantly, I'm asking you a question. Do you realize that it doesn't matter if you're from Yale or jail or Park Avenue or Park Bench, that addiction does not discriminate? Because this doesn't mean shit if you don't mean something." And that hit me. The tears started rolling down my face. I said, "I got it. I get it. Yeah." And she goes, "Do you want to do anything it takes to get sober? Because I could help you." I said, "Anything." 24 hours later, I was detoxing. It still got stuff to talk about, but I remember coming back from the gym. It was 7 o'clock at night on July 2nd, 2008. And I called them up and said, "I can't do it anymore. My brain is opiate deficient. I gotta call a freaking doctor to get what I really need to get. There's no freaking way I'm gonna make it." And my uncle grabbed the phone. He said, "This is the goddamn disease talking. It's time you kick the goddamn shit out of this freaking disease. Put your hand up at a 12-step meeting. Tell these people you're sick and suffering and need help." And I said, "There's no way. I can't do it, Uncle Stu. I've been to those meetings. I can't identify." I hung up the phone. I ran into the bathroom to take 2 non-narcotic anxiety pills. And Megan, my ex, we could have sworn we cleaned out every medicine cabinet in the house, and it was all non-narcotic stuff. And out came 2 Vicodins, which is one of the 3 opiates I was addicted to for a split second. It was a gift from God. It was the relief, exactly what I needed. I was like, "Oh, thank God." And then the turn happened. Because I was given the gift of desperation. And I fell on my knees. I was shaking, trembling, and crying, calling out to help for the first time in my life. And I had the white light moment. Flushed the pills. For the first time in my life, I wanted to stay sober a little bit more than I wanted to get high. And I walked into a church basement with about 150 to 200 addicts and alcoholics, and completely accountable. And they said, "Is anybody new here?" And his hand went right up. And big time super agent life. And I was in there crying on my hands and knees. And what seemed to be the worst of my life turned out to be the best. That's when it all started. So in recovery, it's changed everything about me. I put one foot in front of the other, and I learned so much from my spiritual brothers and sisters that it's much easier to stay sober than it is to get sober again. I implement what I like to call the 5 A's, as I talk about in my book, Aiming High, which is attitude, adjustment, action, acceptance, and accountability. And those 5 A's changed my world. I've been through hell and back with a lot of things. But recovery's taught me that I'm a member of the no matter what club, that no matter what happens in Darren Prince's life, it's never an excuse to pick up a drug, a drink, or a substance. As long as I'm on that spiritual beam, and I'm working the steps, practice the principles, working with other people in recovery, helping the world. AA, the 12-step fellowship is in my heart. I know that I'm bulletproof. I lost my dad on February 15th of 2017, but because of that perspective and that perception and that shift, I got to think he had a sober son for 8.5 years. And I got to say goodbye to him the day before he passed, and we put him in hospice, and man, what a gift to take that all in, sober. and to be able to hold his hand and for him to see that I've never been in a better place. You know, it's amazing.